hello everyone. Today on our first ever episode of Rock Fever Bangladesh, we have one of the greatest musicians of this generation, AvoidRafa. So, as you previously know, we've had artists like Lil Late, Barney School, Farooq Bhai Project on our series called Rising Artists. So this is a completely new segment. This is for especially the rock lovers and avoid Rafa. So House of Dhaka. Let me tell you something about House of Dhaka before we start. So House of Dhaka, it's a completely youth-led organization. So we're currently focusing on making content. So we've obviously worked with other artists before, Farooq Bhai Project, Lil Late. So the goal is for Bangla music to be actually, shown more actually, right? So because feel like some of the you know I feel like people are drifting away from the classical Bengali music itself, and I feel like Bengali people in general they're not open to new segments, new genres, and it's kind of hard for them to accept new music. So we've previously worked on that, but for today, obviously we have around 20 questions for you. So let's move on with it.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's get to it.
All right, so I'm Tanha, and first of all, I gotta say, I was one of your biggest fans growing up.
You was? You're still
I mean,
not?
I still am,
No, I'm
but
just kidding.
it's like a dream come true talking to
Thank
you.
you.
I grew up listening to your songs. My mom was a big fan and still is. So, my first question: what's the biggest struggle you faced in your nearly 2 decade long career?
I think the biggest struggle was to establish myself financially. I know it sounds, like backstage stuff. If you keep doing something for 20 years, I'm sure you're going to make a name out of it. Even if you're a carpenter, people would know that you have 20 years experience. So when I started off music for the first decade, it was absolutely without money. So you can imagine, like, coming up with a business where you put your heart and soul in it and you get nothing in return. All you get is crowd response. That's how most Silicon Valley businesses like turn out. But at one point, they have a business model which we still don't have. So the biggest struggle was that, and also with that, I think our society doesn't really like music. So I started when I was very young. It was back in 2005-6. Music was still a taboo back then. People would tell me constantly not to do music. And so to fight and get out of that barrier, that whole barrier where you constantly feel like what you're doing is wrong. So that's the biggest fight I had to fight. So at one point, I always had the doubt that should I do music? Because all my friends who started music with me, they all quit. And I would meet them 5, 6 years later down the line. They would go like, why don't you start something serious? So, fighting all those, and when the whole world keeps telling you that what you're doing is not feasible, but then you have to come back home and tell yourself, no, what I'm doing is right. So, fighting that took almost 12 years of my life, right? Like not to feel guilty of what I'm doing. So, at one point, I could financially secure myself with whatever I have, and be happy with the fact that I am gonna die a musician. I'm not gonna deviate and have kids and work at a bank or something like that.
So it was like fighting the taboo that you're a
Exactly.
musician. All right. So why is there a highly regarded album called Bhar? Like why that name specifically?
আর হচ্ছে কি আমার একটা ব্যান্ড ছিল দ্য জয়েন্ট ফ্যামিলি আই ডোন্ট নো ইফ ইউ গাইজ নো অ্যাবাউট ইট অর নট এক্সেলেন্ট ব্যান্ড প্লিজ ডু চেক ইট আউট দ্যাটস দ্য ব্যান্ড আই ফর্মড when I was in অর্থহীন so I have one of my best friends he plays guitar in AvoidRafa right now, that guy. So we formed a band and we used to smoke tons of joints. So we named it the Joint Family. So we were kids, but our target ছিল to make English songs and not care about what people think. So it was like an experimental thing. We found an excellent drummer and a bassist. So we made few songs, কয়েকটা mixed album English গান দিছিলাম, and we would do live covers, and ওই ব্যান্ডেরই গান ছিল ভার. So Bangla, that's like I am an English medium kid, so I'm not very good with Bangla songs. So that's one of the first Bangla song I made. So Bhar গানটা কিন্তু জয়েন্ট ফ্যামিলির আন্ডারে রিলিজড হয় in a mixed album which didn't do much. So later down the line I had a concept to keep working on that concept, Bhar concept. So the song Bhar is actually written about divorce. It's not about anything else. I know it sounds weird, but it's about the pressure of baggage that you have on your shoulder if you keep going about, for a long time. Like choto choto details turns out to be extremely heavy in life. Like you can be friends with somebody, but if that person has a character flaw, it might be okay in the beginning, but if you keep walking down the road, that small thing might turn out to be so big that you wouldn't be able to look at that person anymore, right? That's what Bhar is about. That's so
Very relatable.
yeah. So
Also,
I
if you go to Spotify in a Bangladeshi server, in the popular album section, Bhar is always at the top.
well, that's good to know. I had no idea.
It's been there for 2 years.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's like written about stuff that goes on in real
Yeah.
life, because I think most of us has
Everybody has that
yeah,
baggage.
we have faced that. We have so many people that we used to love at one point, but one thing that they did, like,
Yeah, one day you wake up and you
Yeah.
realize that that person is not attractive to you anymore, not even in any way.
you don't even want to talk to them. It's
Exactly.
that bad.
So that's about the whole thing. So I wanted to name the album Bhar because I really wanted to make a concept album. I wanted that, from the first song, the next song would make sense. And there will be a continuing story, but I couldn't. I failed. So I put in a whole lot of, mixed chocolates in a bag and just released it. That's the album.
All right. So I love your style personally, and I think we all know that a signature thing about your style is your hair. I love your hair. I have hair myself, long hair, but I love yours. I couldn't beat yours. So, would you like provide us with some tips, like how you take care of it, how you style it?
I absolutely do nothing. I am
That's
kind of a,
unbelievable.
and I'm not kidding. I got my mom's hair. So my mom has she died 2 years ago, but she has Korean hair. So I got it. I do nothing, and sometimes আমি সাবান দিয়ে মাথা ধুই. So I'm kind of a hippie. I don't eat and timely আমি খাই না. আমি ঘুমাই না কখনো ঠিক
I
মতো.
could relate to that.
Yeah, so it's been like all my life, and I don't take care of myself at all. Sometimes my wife calls me up and she's like, "Why don't you go take a shower?" So I'm that kind of a person. But I'm a clean person, but I don't just do anything. So chulta just kopale আসছে বলেই. I know a lot of girls tell me that I'm jealous of your hair. I'm like,
I am. I'm really jealous of your
it's
hair.
just genetics. Trust me. I do nothing.
That's good. I wish every girl had that, honestly. Which musical element of yours do you cherish the most?
Drumming. I am a drummer. I really still want to keep playing drums. I want to die playing the drums. I love drums that much, and I never learned how to play the drums. I just can. That's my first instrument. The first thing I could do was my brother took me to a practice pad and drummer মধ্যে বসাই দিছে and I played the drums. So I saw other people, I could immediately play what they were playing. So that's what motivated me to, see, I can play the drums. Maybe I can play the piano as well, or the keyboard, or the guitar. But all those instruments took a long time for me to, polish. But drums, I still can play, and I have extreme confidence when it comes to drums. So that would be my thing.
All right. So this one's a bit more based on your emotions, if I talk about it. So when you left Orthohin, you had to tackle a lot of hate from the band's fans and like stuff like that. You left and you are trying to create your own identity, and it was probably very hard. It was very hard.
Yeah.
So how did you tackle the hate? How did you get over it and do your own thing?
I just deleted all the apps. I guess it's simple. If you hit rock bottom in life, just get rid of all social media. What I did was I deleted Facebook. I didn't delete the account. Let people do what they want to do. Deleted the apps. There is no internet in this PC. So I stayed here. The first thing, if you really want to move on from something and create something new, there will be backlash. So I just immediately decided I'm going to work on my album and release it, because I know if you release an album, it's going to eventually, people will forget about the previous incident. That's exactly what happened. If I didn't release an album with AvoidRafa, তাহলে যেটা হতো হচ্ছে গিয়ে মানুষ এখন ওটা নিয়ে পড়ে থাকতো, oh, you left a big band and then you're doing nothing. So I had a lot of criticism. The first 2-3 days was crazy. But then I just got rid of all social media and just started working on, the songs that I want to release in my album. I guess 8-9 maas pore when I logged into Facebook, by that time all the hate was just gone.
So I think the best thing is to just ignore and move on and do your own
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, I think
because
so.
it doesn't really matter at then because you're Avoid Rafa now and
Exactly.
that's what
and
happened.
and I think it goes for everybody. The internet is a pretty bad place, and this whole cycle of like anything being on top is very narrow nowadays. So if anybody feels like they're getting cancelled or someone's hating on somebody, all they need to do is just ignore those apps for a certain amount of time, and everything goes back to normal.
All right. So would you like to give us some hints about your new projects or upcoming stuff that you're planning to do?
I'm gonna release an album. The good thing is AvoidRafa started off as a solo project.
Alright.
Like I used to play all the songs bhareo shobi amar bajano, nijer banano compose kora. But now I have a functioning band. So I really want to make an album যেখানে everybody puts in their 2 cents and we create a song like a family, like how a band should. So I think I'm almost there. Orthohin, Art Cell, they released their album. So I'm really happy that people are talking about it. So I plan to release the album. I have an Australia tour right after Eid. I have 6 or 7 concerts in every state. So I'll do that, come back, and এই রোজাতে I'll try to, finish the songs, at least skeletons. So when I come back, তারপরে I really want to properly record an album and release an album, just like old school stuff. That's all I plan to do, and maybe if we can work on a music video, we will release one.
Hopefully that happens because I'm
Yeah.
really excited for it.
Mauricio Rawan, one of the hosts of this interview. So I would like to begin with, you're one of the most hardworking people in the entire industry.
I like to believe so.
You're always on the run and always have upcoming shows on the table. So I was wondering if you could provide the audience a glimpse on what's it really like to live this rockstar lifestyle in Bangladesh and how hectic can it get?
It's extremely hectic. First of all, it's work. So there's a fine line between work and passion.
Right.
So if you take passion too seriously, I guess it turns into work. So I take it as a professional thing. Music. I used to take it passionately when I was young, but at one point I decided that I have to take it seriously. So like I try to give advice to young people that take it seriously. By seriously I mean take it professionally. Make sure you earn money from it, just like any other business. So this is basically running multiple business at the same time. So you work inside the studio, you create your material, you promote it, you sell it to people. I'm not sure, like we can call it sell in Bangladesh, but still we try to sell it. And then when it's out there, you start performing them on stage. So it's basically like, having a supply chain and then a showroom and then you have customers. So it's like the whole cycle repeats. So I think every musician works as much as I do, like the successful ones. And since Bangladesh, there is a whole lot of people who cannot really pursue music like full time because of the insecurities. And you know how it goes in Bangladesh.
Right.
So it's very hard to pursue music full time. You cannot really be a musician full time. But in my case, I just do it professionally. That's all I do. So I can put all my time in, and that's like all my time. I mean, only 2% is probably when I'm practicing my or playing my instruments. The less that's a very lesser percentage. For the 98% of the time, I'm just working, moving from here to there, practicing with the band. Shows, that's a different thing, and working inside the studio, that's a completely different thing. So yeah, you can call me a workaholic because I like working. I guess if music wasn't my profession, I would probably be a fuck up. So like good for me that I like to work in my passion.
So when do you really take vacations?
I don't.
Yeah.
I've been in this studio for the last 15 years. I haven't gone out at all. I have no social life. Actually, don't hang out with my friends. Since I was 16, all I do is spend time here. I'm kind of a weirdo. So like I don't really get out. I only get out after 12 when the streets are empty, and I drive around on my own. I have a cat. I love him, so he's like everything I have, and that's it. I guess if you read other musicians' biography, like Tom York from Radiohead, they don't even have like time to eat. I do eat, so I do socialize, and I do go on Facebook. But when you do music, I think it's more like an addiction, so you get really stuck into it. So you just keep spending more time, and there is no end to learning.
Right.
So if you take the challenge, then every other year you have to learn something new because the world is progressing. So I don't really take vacations.
Very insightful. So, in an interview, you once described singing as a mental pressure for you. ব্যাপারটা নাকি অনেকে অফিসে যাওয়ার মতন ছিল আপনার জন্য. So, do you like singing now?
Not really. I don't. I am a drummer. I love to play the drums. If it's the instrument, then I can completely focus on what I'm doing. So when I was young, I would play the drums. That's how I started initially. Then my brother figured out I can sing while playing the drums too. So he forced me to play, sing and play the drums. So that transcribed in Orthohin. So where I was a drummer and singer for a long time. And then I really thought I can make money by just playing drums and like live my life that way. But unfortunately, it will never happen in Bangladesh, and no drummer can make a living here. It's even super hard all around the globe. So Bangladesh, I don't really see it's happening. So I had to resort to singing.
Right.
And I guess people loves what I'm singing. But
Yeah,
singing is a pressure because it's not like how do I explain? If it's guitar, things are in your hand, right? So when you're singing on stage, especially, like I love singing in the studio, but when I'm singing on stage, it's a tremendous pressure because it's not just you singing. You have to sing right.
Right.
You have to sing with the right passion. You have to sound like yourself. And then there are thousands of people who need to feel good.
Right.
And that's a very complete, it's a mental pressure.
I see.
So, Bass Baba Shuman Bhai has always been the guiding light for you in your career. He has always believed in you, and he was very influential for you. So I was wondering if you could, quote me some of the most inspirational words he has ever said to you, and emphasize more on the moral support he always provided.
When I was young, I joined Orthoin when I was 16, so I had no roadmap. So basically, he and other band members from Orthoin, and my Amar Boro Bhaiya. So he's the one who really helped me get into the music. So he has been always there for me, but he's a doctor. He's also a guitar player, but he didn't get the time to get into music. When it comes to Shuman Bhai, he helped me, turn into a proper, better human being, not just a talented musician. Because when I joined Orthoin, I was very talented, but I had no idea what to do with all these things I can do.
Right.
So he guided me step by step. Certain things like when I joined Orthohin, he told me that if you stick by it, you're gonna be a big name in the industry. So I took it to heart. And when I left Orthohin, he also told me that keep doing what you do, and eventually it's gonna work out. You're gonna shine. So it's working. The most inspiring thing that he taught me is how to be humble. To be humble, not just how to be humble. To be humble, no matter how big you are. And the most other important thing he taught me is to not let go. Just keep doing it, because the industry works in a span. So if you make a song now, it will catch fire 3-4 years down the line.
Right.
It doesn't do it immediately. So you need to have patience.
Right.
So that's the most important thing I learned from him, and I still follow that cycle. So yeah, these are very important things young kids need to know when they're starting off music.
Exactly. So during a concert, Orthohin was cancelled, and instead your own band was injected to play there instead of Orthohin. So the organizer, asked for a name for the band, and you immediately suggested AvoidRafa.
Yeah.
So why the name AvoidRafa?
Because it sounds cool. Rafa doesn't sound cool. It doesn't ring like it should. I wish my name was Bon Jovi. I probably would have named my band Bon Jovi, but it's not. So I don't really. I am a sucker for cool names.
I see.
So I wanted to name my band something with my name in it, and my name is Rafa, which is unfortunate. It's not a good sounding name at all. So I tried to figure out a way to I'm good at naming things, so I named it AvoidRafa. And see, the reason you're asking me this question is because it worked. It's a marketing scheme. A lot of people ask me what's the reason behind AvoidRafa. There is no philosophy. It's a marketing scheme.
I see.
I guess I'm good at marketing.
Rafa, what though? Like, what's your surname?
My whole name is Raifal Hassan Rafa.
And I have but to try to use my surname.
So
I
yeah,
think
see,
I
you're
can-
fucked too.
I'm
So
fucked.
if you ever want to be a solo artist, you have to let go of that. Every bigger artist we know, they change their names.
Yeah.
Right? You can go Wikipedia, all your favorite artists. Even Emma Stone, it's not her favorite. It's not her first. It's not her real name.
Right.
So she changed it too. So everybody does. You need to have a stage name that resonates, like with the other people. So I guess AvoidRafa did the trick.
I see. So you were totally crazed out when you heard Habib Wahid and Fuad Al-Muqtadir's song in the 2000s. You are very moved on by the way they were mastering and producing. So tell us a bit more about, their influence they had on you in terms of production.
Prior to them, music was it's more rock based. The music I learned, the people I used to hang out with, those people turned out to be Art Cell, Nemesis, Cryptic Fate, all these bands that you know. So when I was 16, they were like starting out. So it was all band music. Like I don't really wanna, use the word band music. There's no such thing as band music. It's only Bangladeshi ase.
Right.
So band music, I know people who are playing acoustic music on stage, making their songs with their instrument, performing them on stage, recording it the same way. Fuad and Habib, what they did was they brought in digital music and made it big.
Right.
So immediately, and at that time, I was looking for a way to earn money. And rocking out doesn't pay.
Yes.
So I started learning music production at an early age. I was like fiddling around with FL Studio like anybody else does. And that's when I met Fuad Bhai. And tar age Habib Bhai already changed the market. So the most important thing is older generations were listening to their song because it sounds sweet. The sound quality is better than the band music. You can check it. You can actually compare. The sound quality is better than, say, for example, I can give you an example. Art Cell Odekha Sorgo and Habib Bhai's first gun. You can listen to them both. You will understand the difference in sound, right? One sounds really properly mastered.
Polished.
Polished. The other one doesn't sound polished. If you like a song, it doesn't have to do anything with sound quality, but if you want to be a professional musician, sound quality is the most important thing, the mixing and the sound. So they changed the whole thing in a way that people can start finally dreaming of the fact that maybe if I have a computer, I can learn how to master or make music the way they are doing.
Yes.
And it's a completely different dimension because I was used to making songs with a guitar, right? Say, for example, I have a guitar or I'm playing the piano and then I would sing on top of it. But Fuad Bhai, Habib Bhai, they brought in sounds that doesn't sound like guitar, digital sounds, right? And it was very early in the days. So I met Fuad Bhai and I told him the first day I met him, I told him I want to be a music producer. So he said, okay, I have a studio, why don't you work with me? I'll give you chores. So I would fix up his mic. Sometimes I would program the drums. I would play the guitar. So I learned a lot, and I didn't have a setup back then. So I had no option of learning how he's doing the work. So he taught me a lot, and also he let me use his studio. So sometimes he would pass out, and I would make some of my songs and record them. So the fact that digital music was revolutionized by these two people, and I'm sure there are others involved. I don't know them personally. Was a big impact on me because it opened a new horizon for me to explore out of the things I can play, and also gave me an option and also confidence on the fact that I'll be able to produce music for a living, which Fuad Bhai and Habib Bhai they were doing at the time. So there you go. It's helped me get the confidence, and now I'm actually a music producer.
So how was the song Ami Akash Pathabo composed and produced from scratch? Like how exactly did it sound?
It's a very funny and it's a funny story. It was produced right here, so it was a song for Close Up.
Right.
Although I hold the rights to it, but the story is, I guess you guys know John Kobir.
Yes.
Right, so he's a very close borrow bhai of mine. So he calls me up one day and he's like, I have a friend. He's a movie director. He's a film director. And he's looking for somebody to create a song for his telefilm. So back in the days, telefilmer music money হচ্ছে গিয়ে lollipop. I would call it lollipop song. It's just some two beat going on and some girl and boy singing about how they lost each other. So it's just crap. It was crap. So I said no. I said no. I'm not gonna be part of a telefilm song. I have too much pride to go down that road. So he said no. This guy is different. Just meet him. So I met him. His name was Shafat Mansurana. He's still one of my closest friends. So all my big songs are written by him. So what he told me was, here's the lyric for you, and you gotta make a song. Do it any way you like. I have no genre preferences. You don't have to use shitty sounding synth tone. You can do it the way you like. So I said okay, I'll try. So that's how I met him, and the first song we made was Cholo Arek Barudi, which was kind of a big success. And the next movie he was working on was Ami Akash Pathabo. So he sent me a lyric. He said, why don't you work on it? Same brief. You can do it your way. So I made couple of demos on acoustic, and take pathanor pore, and he's an excellent judge at music. Like since he's the director, he's envisioning the whole thing. So I just used to send him the demos. Tell me which one do you like? So he chose the one that turned out to be Akash Pathabo. And at that time, I was supposed to leave for Sydney the next day for a show or something. I guess I forgot. So আমি জাস্ট ফার্স্টটা করছি, কোরাসটা করছি, and ওই দিনে আমার রাতে ফ্লাইট. So he came over. He's like, we gotta finish it because আপনি চলে যাবেন. So I did it very fast. So if you listen to the Akash Pathabo composition, the one that's in record, it's not a very good sounding composition. It's very loose ended. So what I did was I recorded the guitar and the vocal, and he wrote the second verse while he was here. We just finished it in half an hour. I did my part. I ran to the airport. I left. Then my band members, Pavel, Samir chilo guitar, Jeffrey chilo drums, they came to my place and they finished the rest of the song and just sent it to close up for the movie. And then when I came back, I got the session out, mixed and mastered it right, and put it in my album.
So this is more of a personal question. So what would be your 5 favorite albums? It can be any language, any genre.
One of my Pigs on the Wings, Pigs by Pink Floyd. There's this album called Pigs. Images and Words by Dream Theater. Home, the Watson Brothers, Bangladeshi band. Black's first album, I forgot the name of it. I used to be a huge fan of that album. I still listen to it. And there is also another album, যেটা হচ্ছে আমাদের ইকবাল আসিফ জুয়েল, মাইলসের গিটারিস্ট, and আর্টসেলের guitarist. So he released a guitar instrumental album back in 2006 or 5, I forgot. I think you guys can find it Spotify, maybe, or G Series YouTube channel. So that's one of my favorite albums. It's inspired me a lot. I know nobody knows about it, but if you're listening to me, please go look for it. That's probably the only guitar instrumental album in the country.
Wow.
It's a beautiful album.
And if you had one artist/band to listen for the rest of your life, which musician would you pick?
Tough question, because it was Pink Floyd at one point, but then I think I burned out. I listened to so much Pink Floyd, এখন আর ভালো লাগে না. So I think it will be Sufjan Stevens. Have you not heard this guy's name? Yeah, because I still love listening to his music, and it's been like 20 years maybe. I still like it. So yeah, I would name that guy.
Thank you very much for the answers. And yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Arthur. I'm the founder of House of Taka, and I'm also one of the hosts for today. So let's move on with the questions. So you were born in Libya and were raised there for 5 years. Have you ever written any songs recalling that early phase of your life?
Hell no, I don't like that guy. Like what was his name? Gaddafi. I saw him once though. And thank God he's dead. But I don't want. It's like the fact about Middle Eastern kids like me and a whole lot of people. You will meet a lot of kids like my age who were born in Saudi or Libya because of their fathers were doctors and engineers, and they snatched them to their country to work, and then we got screwed. So I don't really remember that. All I remember is like we had Borof Porto, and my mom would take me out. So I remember good memories about that. But since I came back at the age of 5, I just remember all about Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So I never thought about until now I never thought about going back to Libya or that memory musically. I guess what am I gonna make? There was no music in that country. Trust me, go on YouTube and search for Libya.
I guess you could make some for.
It was really extremely shitty. You have no idea, dude. People had to grow their own fruits to eat, so it was just messed up. Libya had no chickens. I don't know if you guys know about that or not. You will hate.
On what?
There was some weird laws. You have to grow your own chicken.
Okay, so
Yeah,
sure.
it's
So
messed
it's
up. Thank God I was 5. I don't remember all those. I just remember. I just know about this when from YouTube. I watch a lot of documentaries. But I came back at the age of 5, and I guess that's when my life began.
all right. So, how did it all begin? How did you end up becoming a celebrated musician from a Maple Leaf school student who never received any formal musical training?
My brother helped me a lot. I was very young. I was into cricket at grade 7. তারপরে grade 9 এর time I guess maybe I don't know puberty or what happened to me. So I got extremely interested in music. But prior to that, when I was in grade 7, আমার বড় ভাই আমাকে রেগুলার ভালো ভালো গান শোনাতো. He would like যে Iron Maiden শুনো, and I had no interest in them. I was young. I was like, what is this nonsense? So my mom would drag me to, as typical Bengali family, বাড়ির guest আসলে she would drag me and গান গাও, that whole thing that we have to go. So she would make me sing. Thank God she would make me sing songs like November Rain. তো লাকিলি একটু ভালো টালো গান টান শুনে হয়েছে ওই টাইমে. বাট গ্রেড 9 এর দিকে এসে all my friends were learning guitar from my brother because that age. And I had no interest in guitar, but around grade 9 এর দিকে I got really into music. Like that phase when you really cannot think about anything else, just music and Winona Ryder. That's all I could think about. And my brother helped me a lot because ওর গিটার ছিল অনেক. So he would teach me. So he taught me the guitar forcefully to a point that he taught me how to play Hotel California so that I can play backup when he's playing the guitar. So I learned the guitar, and then তারপরে he would take me to his practice pads. He had a band. So বড় ভাইদের সামনে তারা জ্যাম করার পরে they would ask me to play the drums. And আমি ড্রাম বাজানোর পরে generally কি হয়, when you play something and your friends tell you, dude, you're good at it. So the same thing happened to me, but just my brain told me you are good at it. Like I said, I'm very confident about drums. So when I played the drums first time, I knew that I can play. So all the good songs that I've been liking, like Linkin Park, Slipknot, I'm like, hell yeah, I can try them. So I came back. I remember, like, I guess grade 9 এর final exam এর পরে 3 months, all I did was sit in this room and pick up songs. And obviously, it's not like that. When I started, আমি সবই বাজাতে পারতাম. So I would be able to play the whole song without the rolls. But I would keep doing it all night. And I loved Linkin Park especially because the drummer কোনো roll dito na. I don't know why. There was no rolls in Linkin Park songs. So you can just play it. So imagine somebody who just figured out, say, hey, I can play the drums. And you come back home, khata balish diye, you make the drums. And you're playing the songs all night. And imagining in your head, someday I'll be able to play this song live with my friends. So I guess that's how it started. And then our friends formed a band. We did a very shitty show. And just like any other people who starts, বাজে show ছিল একটা ভুলভাল করছি সবাই। তা ওটা ছিল আমাদের ইংলিশ, আমাদের ম্যাথ স্যার যে ছিল কোচিং এর ওনার বাসায়। So it was extremely bad. তারপরে রাশিয়ান কালচার একটা শো হয়, আমাদের একটা রিচ ফ্রেন্ড ছিল, ওর আব্বু স্পন্সর ম্যানেজ করে দিয়েছিল. We organized the show for ourselves so that we can perform. So I guess that's how the whole thing started, like musically. And when you get into music, you will see that আশেপাশে অনেক বন্ধু তৈরি হয় যারা মিউজিক করে. So there are struggling friends who's learning the bass. So ওইভাবেই I guess পুরো জিনিসটা worked out.
So every artist makes certain moves during their up and coming stages, which they later regret. Therefore, I was wondering if you could share some of the things you regret doing in this profession, so the aspiring musicians out there don't repeat the same thing.
Mistake. আমি খুব careful person. So you will never find me doing anything wrong out there because I don't like to make a scene or even show my true colors to people. mistake in the sense the biggest blunder আমার musical career গেছে কি when I started out I was extremely picky about what I'm performing in front of people. তারপর একটা পয়েন্টে গিয়ে I lost that. Like in the last 5-6 years ago I guess. If you go on YouTube and search for my videos, you will see একটা পয়েন্টে my performance wasn't good enough. I'll tell you honestly. I couldn't sing. I wasn't singing right. I wasn't playing right. My guitar tone was shitty. So I got out of it when I noticed that change. I guess when you know, if you keep doing something for a really long time, it's very hard to stay focused. And it's like, say, if you're a content creator, if you're gonna dress up right the first few days, first few years, and at one point you wouldn't feel like it. So I guess that happened to me.
I guess people judge you for all of the things you do, and I feel like it's very hard to actually do what you really want to do because you have to keep a lot of things in mind.
Yeah, like simple example দেই যে কিছু কিছু গানের শেষে চিৎকার দিছি রেকর্ডে that turned out to be a big thing. So আমি কনসার্টে যখন পুরো গানটা করতেছি ওই গানটার I'm thinking more about the solo. I practiced it. I'm gonna nail the solo. But when I'm just playing the solo and not doing the end scream part, people don't really give you what you need. They go like, what the hell did you do? You cannot sing anymore. So all these things happen, and at a point I was demotivated and I lost my edge. And then I took a break. It's a creative block ball. It happens to people. And I lost my edge, then I came back again. এখন I'm doing fine because it's very hard to stay motivated if you're doing the same things for a long time.
So what's your personal favorite song among your own songs?
One of the best things I ever created was this song called The Bicycle Day. It's by my band, The Joint Family. You guys can YouTube it, you'll find it. And it's an English song. It's one of the best things I ever created. And Bangla ganer moddhe, I think Koshto is my most favorite songs because I wrote it from scratch. I had the philosophy in my head. I could create exactly what I wanted. And my least favorite song is Ami Akash Pathabo.
Why though?
Because, I don't know, but composition-wise, I wasn't happy with it. I love the tune, but composition I couldn't really gel.
Like it's a very powerful song.
It is. It's a powerful song. It's a nice song, but I don't like the composition. So from a musical point of view, I never wanted to start a song with chick 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 chick. It's just it doesn't hit like the way I wanted. But if you listen to Akash Pathabo, last 2 বছরের live, you will see that I changed the composition. Now I like it. I think it's not about the song, it's about the composition for me. It's more about the craft. The tune doesn't really matter that much to me. It's for people to judge.
Right. So this is a question we've asked previous rising artists like Barney School that were a little late. So this was one of their biggest ever challenges is that Bangla music. It's hard for people to accept new genres of music, right? Especially the genres they're doing. So what do you think about that? Like, at what point will Bengali people in general, try to, kind of swift into new music, try out new music, and accept the change?
I think it's a very tough question because we've been doing similar kind of music out of fear for a long time because you know that if you try something out of the box, it won't catch fire. But আগের দিনে আমাদের রেকর্ড লেভেলের একটা প্যারা ছিল রেকর্ড লেভেল would take your album and if you do a very experimental album record label has the rights to tell you this won't sell. But nowadays we have YouTube and I'm actually happy the last 3-4 বছরে কিন্তু অনেক চেঞ্জ হয়েছে. Like say Carnival, I know you guys know Carnival, right? Carnival কিন্তু অনেক পুরানো ব্যান্ড. They started when I started music, same time. But Carnival has been doing the same kind of music with their ideologies for a long time. See, এখন now Carnival is a big name. Right? Joy Bangla concert Carnival এর গান সবাই গাচ্ছে. So I guess the change has to come from the artist. If you generalize crowd, Bangladesh's 90% crowd কিন্তু English গান শুনেই না. I'm talking about entire Bangladesh. There is probably 10% kids Dhaka শহরে who are trying to listen to English songs or বিদেশি গান.
And that's mostly English medium.
Exactly. Niche কিন্তু. So in niche market তুমি থাকলে obviously you'll be appreciated but the crowd is very less. Your Instagram will never hit more than 50,000. You'll never get a silver button or anything because But then again, you will see Bangladeshi artists getting like 25 million, 30 millions, right? Where does all these people come from? So those are Bangladeshi people. So in order for you to reach out to those people, all you need is time. To trust me, let me tell you, if you invest enough time, it will work. And so any artist, young artist, rising artist, or even it goes for me as well, if I want to do something experimental, I should just do it. I know nobody will talk about it now. And keep doing it live, shop জায়গায়, to a point যে 1 বছর 2 বছর 3 বছর পরে that will be the song of the people.
And I feel like when you instantly, let's say, I'm Musa and I just released a song. So when you're Musa and you have, these marketing streams. So like, let's say Musa একটা গান বেরিয়েছে ঝুমকা, right? And it got instantly viral. Do you think it's because of the tune itself, because it's a kind of festive song?
Yeah, it's a festive song. It's a dance oriented song, so people will love to listen to it. There is excellent good marketing strategy behind it, a good team that's like promoting it. So it's a pop content. That's how pop content should be released. And যেটা বাংলাদেশে অনেক ভুল করে pop content এর বেলায়. And also, like I know Zephyr is a very good friend of mine, but ঝুমকা গানটা কিন্তু is a one hit wonder. If I'm wrong, I'll be very happy. But this song won't be talked about for the next 2 years. Songs like this come and they go. When they come, they make a big noise. They change everybody's thoughts and everything. Everybody's dancing to it. But they stay up there for 6 months and then they disappear. But a song like Wind of Change by Scorpions, probably something you don't even know about, but if you listen to it, you'll fall in love with it. So, like Roger Waters said, how do you evaluate two things, a colors TV or a prom queen? A prom queen is beautiful today, but she won't be beautiful 20 years from now on. But a color TV will still give you what you need for the next 40 years. So which one do you want to make? It's your choice. You can make a song that people will keep talking about. Because Anmone ami banaisi when I was young. I was 16 when I made Anmone. Kept it myself. তারপর সুমন ভাইকে দিছি, দেন অর্থহীন অ্যালবামে রিলিজ হয় আনমনে 2. 10 years later, everybody loves this song এখন. So it's a good song, I guess. It's one of those songs that has a higher shelf value. So it's a musician's choice. Musa is extremely good at making content that will immediately catch fire. যে talent আমার নাই. Even if I try harder, I cannot. So I think this is the fight you have to go through. So it's an existential fight. Justin Bieber is fighting that right now because he was a pop content now. And when he was young, and now he's struggling to make something that's worthwhile. Go see all of his interviews. He's just struggling right there. How do I make my name established for the rest of my life so that people relate back to me?
And as you said, যে বাংলাদেশের যে অডিয়েন্সটা এটা কিন্তু অনেক বড়, but like I feel like যে people aren't exactly connecting to all the songs কারণ মার্কেটটা কিন্তু অনেক বড়, but like let's say only 10-20% of the people instantly ganda shune, but like as you said, you have to wait for let's say 80% of the people to actually listen to your song. Why do you think how do you think we should the industry should improve on that? Because
I think it's very hard question because see 80% of the people that we keep referring to, they don't listen to the kind of music that we listen to. So massive একটা cultural gap আছে. You cannot just walk into any, say তুমি এখন চিটাগং বা খুলনার একটা পাবলিক ইউনিভার্সিটিতে গিয়ে you cannot introduce certain bands that you like to them because they wouldn't like it. So that's why Ashes, তারপরে some সোনার বাংলা সার্কাস, they are big in those places like ঢাকার বাইরে because it's like something that can resonate to their thoughts and patterns. So I think what we need to do is change things lyrically maybe. That's an easier step because আমরা যখন বাংলায় গান বানাই, like বাইরে যেরকম ইংলিশে কেউ গান বানায় তখন they say what they want to say. But আমরা কিন্তু এটা করি না. We don't really do that with Bangla music. What we do is vague কথাবার্তা দিয়ে আমরা গান শেষ করি. So I think lyrically we can try to relate to the people like Pritam Hassan does. Pritam Hassan is extremely good at reaching out to average people. So ওর গান তুমিও শুনবা because it's musically very rich. But then at the same time রিক্সাওয়ালাও শুনবে, একটা মানুষ যে তোমার দিনে এনে দিনে খায় ও কিন্তু শুনবে. বাট আমার কিন্তু 90% গান আমি একটা সিএনজিওয়ালাকে শোনাতে পারবো না, because he wouldn't get it. What the fuck are you doing with your guitar solos? I don't care. I need to understand words that relate to me, right? So you can, আমার কথা হচ্ছে ইয়াং হলে নিউ মিউজিক বানাতে চাইলে বানাও, ফাইন, বাট সিগারেটস আফটার সেক্স যেরকম দে টক অ্যাবাউট দ্য বেসিক থিংস দ্যাট উই টক অ্যাবাউট when we text girls, text boys. So I think Bangla lyric we need to get that norm so that people start relating.
But don't you think that will be a very taboo topic to talk about?
Yeah, I think so. But what else can you do? Because you cannot really reach people with the genre.
Yeah.
Etuko ami sure that you cannot do experimental genres, and I'm sure Bangladesh 80% that you're referring to, they will never listen
Exactly.
to that. They wouldn't go for something like trap.
Yeah.
They wouldn't at all. Hobby na eta work korbe na. See, so Jalali said jeta korse. I guess you know Jalali
Yes,
said, right?
obviously.
So what they did was they র্যাপই তো করতেছে, রাইট, বাট দেন এট দ্য সেম টাইম দে ডিড ইট বাংলা স্টাইল, সো এখন অনেক বিগ হয়ে গেছে ওরা। সো আই থিঙ্ক এরকম টুইস্ট করতে হবে আর কি,
আচ্ছা।
লাইক জাস্ট রেডিও হেডিশ মিউজিক করলে হবে না, উই নিড টু পুট আওয়ার বাংলা মিউজিক ইন ইট, বাংলা ওয়ার্ডস ইন ইট, সো দ্যাট ইটস আ ভেরি গ্রে এরিয়া। টু বি অনেস্ট, আই রিয়েলি ডোন্ট নো হোয়াট টু টেল ইউ।
We had this video with like আমাদের first ever video, so we had this, আমাদের motto ছিল culture redefined, right? So আমরা কি করছি, কোকচির একটা গান ভোবের পাগল, you've obviously listened to it, right? So we had two kids, my friends, they were listening to 21 Savage, ঠিক আছে, রিক্সায়। So রিক্সামা বলছে যে বাংলা কিছু ছাড়েন, right? Because it's obviously he's annoyed by the fact যে বাংলা কিছু মানে উনি তো বুঝতেছেন, right? So then he gets out and he puts AirPods on, right, and Bhober Pagal starts playing, ঠিক আছে? So that was our first ever video. I've never, we never thought যে আমরা হচ্ছে we would go and interview actual artists, but something Farooq Bhai, তারপর Lil Lath and Barney Squindam, now you, it's a pretty big step for us from making video like that to this. It's huge success and achievement for us. So thank you so much for doing this.